You're watching Moontower Soccer's Story of the Week, where Landon Cottam and Jeremiah Bentley discuss this week's most important, consequential, and interesting Austin FC news. All right, let's jump into the story of the week this week. Austin FC played to a 2-2 draw at home against Philadelphia. First half, not so great. Austin jumped out to a lead and then shortly conceded an equalizer. Austin's now 12th in the West on 3 points from 4 matches. Jeremiah, I guess, where do we want to start here? What should we kick off the story of the week with?
Well, I think number one is that Austin actually got a goal from a forward, which is something that has not happened this year.
Yeah.
And honestly hasn't happened a whole lot in the history of this club. So it was nice to see Diego Rubio do that. And was there anything particular about the way Austin lined up that led this to happen? Or is it just like eventually just the law of averages leads, like a goal is going to be scored by a forward?
I mean, I would just say that there in the second half, we actually had some good attacking momentum and we're creating chances in the attacking half. And so what was the game where, was it St. Louis where Julio and...
So Julio and Hedges scored the 2 goals in that one.
Yeah, so in that one, we just didn't get that many chances in the attacking half. So I think it made sense that if goals were going to come, it was going to come off of set pieces, and that's where it came from. So I think in this one, it does like show something that, okay, we are actually just creating some chances and getting into dangerous spots in the attacking half. And so our forwards had even a little bit of an opportunity to score, which was more than we could say for a lot of these games.
Yeah, and so maybe the next thing to talk about is that there were some subs right after the half that seemed to make a big difference, and that's something that's not always happened for Austin. So maybe walk through like sort of where I think Danny's is maybe the most impactful overall, where he moved, and then the John Gallagher move both.
I would say Owen Wolf was also impactful in the game.
True.
I think it's by far his best game this season for sure. But yeah, we saw Johan Valencia start at the 6 in the first half, and then Guilherme Biru gets his first start at left back. Valencia was playing as a lone 6 with Danny and Alex Ring as the 2 like dual 10s in front of him, and it was not working very well. And then Biru was also, we can get into this a little bit later, but looked a little bit out of sorts. And so both of those guys get pulled at the half. Danny moves back to the 6, and the buildup instantly looks a lot better. He's moving the ball forward a lot faster. And then Jean Kolmanich gets injured, like, I don't know, less than 10 minutes into the first half. And so they put Hector Jimenez on, move him to right back, move Gallagher to left back. And he was able to make an impact with that second goal. But I thought Owen Wolf had a really good game too, and just came in and brought a lot of energy and confidence into the attack that wasn't happening there before.
Yeah, so maybe you talked about this, I think, off air with our interview guest for the game preview. But like, where do you see Owen Wolf at his best, and like how do we get that out of this match?
Man, he started off as one of those dual 10s, but the way that Austin was playing this week, Alex Ring was doing it when he was there, and then Owen was doing it as he came on, where in kind of the build up phase as they were crossing midfield, those 10s would pull wide and create a triangle with the 6 or one of the wings and the fullback. And so moving wide, and then just kind of his movement and his energy was really causing problems for Philadelphia. So I generally have not liked Owen Wolf as a winger, but he moved there later in the game and still was giving them some trouble. So I think with the way that Austin is playing this year, I wouldn't mind seeing him some at the wing, but I still do think that his best position probably projects as like a box-to-box 8. And I just really hope he can kind of find his confidence there, because in this game, he came in and just seemed like he wasn't thinking, just pinned his ears back and was going full bore the whole second half. And we often see him acting a little bit timid, a little bit conservative with the way he plays, and that did not happen in this game. So, regardless of where he is on the field, I think that is kind of the key of unlocking Owen Wolf is just like getting him to play with freedom, with bravery, with just that energy that he brought in this game because we haven't always seen that.
Yeah, and do you think I mean, is he a victim of just being sort of a jack of all trades? So like not having a nailed down spot and not knowing his place. Do you think that's a little bit of what led to that?
I think a little bit of that, and then just being young. We forget how young this guy is. He's still 18, I think, right? Maybe is he 19 yet? Whatever. He's a teenager still. So, um, I'm hoping he'll. It's just the thing he'll grow out of, and he'll get some confidence and learn like, oh, I can do this and beat grown men doing it.
And then so ultimately we said 2-2 draw at home. Austin now 12th in the West on 3 points from 4 matches, 1 point out of the ninth playoff spot. Like, should we be satisfied with this match and then with the results to date so far? Because I think one of the things that I hadn't really thought about, but is true, is like this is Austin's worst 4 game start out of points, but also the competition's been pretty good. I was super annoyed watching the post game press conference on Sunday when Josh Wolf talked about how good the opponents had been, and I don't know, didn't seem to take a lot of responsibility for it. I'm less annoyed today. This is also why I'm super happy that we have 2 days between the game and the show, because I would have a lot more hot takes usually on Sunday, and then by Monday I'll kind of settle down or rewatch the game and feel a little bit differently about it. But I don't know, man. How are you feeling right now?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's all a matter of mindset and expectations. And I think I've settled into a place where I think I know what this team is and what they're capable of, and my expectations are fairly low. And so when they show me anything that looks like they might win a soccer game, I come out of it feeling fairly positive. And like this one was super disappointing and really annoying and frustrating to watch for large stretches, especially in the first half. But I think in the second half, when those changes got made, when certain players came on and the way that they were playing, it was the best we've seen them look all season, in my opinion. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say like we should feel great about this team or about this result, but in context of what this season and what this roster is, I felt fairly positive coming out of this one.
Yeah, I think you hit on it. It's just hard. Austin's almost a victim of its own success for 2022, where maybe expectations got a little high. And one of the things when I was doing the research for this Orlando City match is like I had forgotten how bad Orlando was for what, 5 years?
Yeah,
I think it didn't make the
years.
playoffs. Yeah, 5 years. It finished 11th or 12th every year, and that made me really, really nervous about what might happen in Austin and how it can go wrong. But they finally got it right. Now with Pareja, they're in a lot better place. But um, yeah,
Yeah,
I get the frustration for sure, I guess is what I would say. And I am
absolutely.
feeling a lot of that too.
It's
But
not
we're
fun to
four
be a fan of
we're
a bad soccer team.
exactly. I guess that's the point. And we're 4 games into the year, and so let's see 8 or 10 games in what Austin looks like.
Yeah,
And I may have a stronger opinion about whether there needs to be a change or not at that point.
and I'll say after the first two games against Minnesota and Seattle, I looked at this team and like thinking about where results and where points were going to come from. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think this team can win a game this year. Like if they play like this every game, they'll lose most of them and maybe draw a few. And then in the St. Louis game, the way that they played for stretches during that game, I was like, okay, once Driussi is back, this is a team that can win some games. Probably not a lot of games, but this team with Driussi could win some games. And then I think this Philadelphia game is a step up even more. Like the way they played in that second half, if you can harness some of that energy for even half of a game and plug Driussi into it, I think that is a team that could maybe stay in the hunt for the playoffs until summer. And if the reinforcements can come in and get us over the line, maybe we'll be playing postseason soccer. But again, it's all about where you set that line of expectations. But relatively speaking, I feel slightly encouraged by this game.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. Is this is a long season. I've spent a lot of time this week for some reason. I talked to people who like not for some reason, just because they're like people who like go to games are not super in tune to it, and they're like, Why are we not better? Like, when's that going to happen?" And then like having to explain the basically the best case scenario here is like stay within striking distance of the playoff line until the summer comes, and maybe there's a brand new DP rule that the league adopts in the summer that hasn't happened yet, or whatever, and then the reinforcements come, and that's really when there's potential for Austin to be better. And you just have to be patient with this club right now for that outcome, which is not satisfying as a fan, I don't think, but it's reality.
Yeah. If you like this video, you can listen to the full episode at moontowersoccer.com or wherever you get your podcasts.